Vegan, it's hard to believe. I feel like we just wrapped up from the NBA bubble. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, everybody. Lots to be thankful for. For me, I'm incredibly thankful for an NBA season that it's being played at all. After witnessing history and being a part of the NBA bubble, it was incredible what the league was able to do. We knew they could do that for a postseason, but could they keep everybody safe for a full season? That's definitely what I'm looking forward to seeing, and I'm hopeful that they can do that. How about you, Tom, and you, Channing?
You know, I'm thankful for Adam Silver, for the leadership of the commissioner, what we've been through, and the way that he is just this wise, trusted voice, a real leader, the way he led the NBA and sports into the bubble and came out of it on the other side, to your point. And as we look forward, we have no idea what happens, but what we do know is Adam and his executive team are on top of things. They're transparent, they're open. The way they responded to Black Lives Matter movement, all of it, every time he delivers, and I'm really thankful he's the commissioner of the NBA.
For me, I'm thankful. I'm from Phoenix, so I'm thankful that the Suns are going to be good again. I think they haven't made the playoffs since I left in like 2010, maybe. But no, it's great. I love what they're doing there. I think Devin Booker is a ridiculous talent. Adding Chris Paul. I got my guy DeAndre Ayton down there from the University of Arizona. I really want to see him really explode this year. He's it's just amazing to see what they've done with the culture and Monty Williams having those guys play as hard as they do every single night.
What else are you thankful for, Tom?
I'll go with greatness. I was thinking about Giannis and the ability to watch him as he enters his prime years, and he's just we call him a freak for the right reason. You've never seen anything like this with the way he plays. 2-time MVP, can he get 3 in a row? And then I'm also thankful for LeBron James. This is what we show up to see, and to have him in LA defending a championship. We know what they did to build around him. His impact, his imprint on the league is massive and magnificent. We take it for granted, and I'm not going to take it for granted this week. I'm thankful for LeBron James, Channing Frye's best buddy.
You know what? Speaking of my best friends, I'm happy and thankful that Tristan Thompson is going to the Celtics. I think that's a great fit for them. I love what they're doing over there with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. And, we've had our battles with them when we were playing, but I think Tristan is a great addition. He's a workhorse. And when it comes down to winning time, he's one of the guys I'd want on my team. So it's going to be interesting to see how he makes them better and how he gets better in that system.
I'm from Cleveland. I watched you, Channing, and yep, Cleveland loses another good one. Hip, hip, hooray. But hey, lots to be thankful for this Thanksgiving, including all of you who are watching the NBA and watching us here on NBA TV.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be more excited to play with these guys. Kevin looks great in terms of just coming back from that injury. Same thing, I've heard the same with Kai. A lot of these guys that had sort of nagging stuff, it seems that, obviously the number one priority for them was just to get healthy. And, we were fortunate, I guess in sort of a sense where they were able to have a longer off season. Although we weren't able to have them in the bubble, it did allow them time to recover, get healthy, and then hopefully, translate to a great season this year.
That has to be one happy guy. Joe Harris really developed as a Brooklyn Net, and he's being rewarded for it, agreeing to a 4-year, $75 million deal to return to the Nets. So we bring in our friend Brian Lewis, who covers the Nets for the New York Post. He's also a Nets writer. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to your expertise. First question is, hey, signing Harris, the bottom line is it's a huge financial commitment. They're now well into the luxury tax, and they still have a few open spots on the roster. How big of a statement is this, and what does it say about the way he's developed within the program?
Well, I mean, it's a statement on a bunch of levels. Joe Tsai, the owner of the team, the new-ish owner of the team, said, I will pay the luxury tax if needed to put together a contender, and he's pretty much putting his wallet where his mouth was. You'll probably be on the hook for, I don't know, about $50 million worth of luxury tax. So there's a statement of intent there. And, I mean, for Joe Harris, I mean, this is a guy who basically, with all due respect, was picked off the scrap heap by this team and was getting paid about $900,000 when he arrived. So for him to get to the point where you're talking about a $75 million deal, that just shows the kind of work that he's put in and the kind of improvement that he's made in the 4 years that he's been here.
So the team also added Landry Shamet and Bruce Brown. How does this help just in general with the spacing for when Kevin Durant and Kyrie are healthy?
Well, I mean, Landry definitely helps in terms of the spacing. I mean, he's one of the better young shooters in the NBA, and he moves well off the ball. In Brown's case, I think it's probably a lot more about what he provides defensively. I mean, when you have a team with KD and Kyrie, you expect them to score. Their issue, and this is something Steve Nash has been talking about ad nauseum since he got hired, is that they've got to make sure that they're tight on the defensive end. So that's where Brown comes in. I mean, Drew Holiday was the kind of player that they had looked at. Obviously, you couldn't get him because the cost was extortionate. But when you get a guy like Brown, that's where he's going to help more on that end. They still need more work to do. They still need probably another forward that can guard. But, yeah, that's where you're going to see Brown make most of his impact.
When you're looking at the scale and the level of concern defensively, what would you say the panic level would be, knowing you do have KD and Kyrie on the other end?
The panic level just on the defensive end or just for where the team is as a whole? On the defensive end, I'd say it's still reasonably high because, yes, you're right. You do have KD and Kyrie. My assumption, despite the fact that KD is a vastly improved defensive player, my assumption is, one, they're going to rest him games. Two, they're going to sit him a lot of minutes. And three, they will probably avoid trying to put him in bad situations defensively as much as they can. So, yeah, I think at the 5, you're pretty solid defensively. But I do think they need another whatever, maybe a 3-4. Because right now, if you look and you say all these great whatever, small forward, power forward types, the LeBrons, the Kawhis, all of these guys, when you ask, well, who on the Nets is guarding those guys? Look at that roster. Who's guarding them? Is it Rodion Kurucs? Is it Taurean Prince? I mean, these are
guarding by committee.
Well, yes, exactly. It is. Well, it is. You're right. Team defense is what they're going to need, but they're still probably a body short. And when I say a body, I mean a body that's somewhere between 6'7" and 6'9", and somewhere between 230 and 250. I mean, that's what they need. They need another one of that type of player.
I couldn't agree with you more. Brian, before I let you go, too, there was so much buzz around the conversation of James Harden wanting out of Houston and wanting to be in Brooklyn, and that sort of died down. I read your story just recently, just a day ago, saying that the team has moved on from talks with James Harden. What is the exact update as of right now in the 11 o'clock hour on Wednesday night?
To the best of my knowledge, I wouldn't say that they've necessarily moved on from the idea of adding Harden. What I'd say is, and it's not dead in the water, it's more floating. In other words, Houston, from what I understand, is not in a rush to move him. I think they accept the fact that that's what's going to end up happening, but they're not in a rush to do it. They would love to bring as many teams to the table as they can to get the best deal. I mean, you've got a new GM who's looking, saying, I can't get this wrong. I have to make this trade right. And the Nets are over there saying, well,